This is called GifterX Talks. My name is Christopher Kai. I've been speaking for over 20 years. I used to work at American Express in New York City, did not like the corporate job. How many of you actually have a corporate job that you one day want to quit and tell your boss, bye? If you're in that situation where you're at a job you don't like, know that there's another side, which is called entrepreneurship. And this community, GifterX Talks, are TED Talks for entrepreneurs, where we are the leading global community for speakers for entrepreneurs. It's called GifterX Talks because my clients, like Gladys, who's amazing there, she's a celebrity spray tanning owner, #1 celebrity spray tanning owner in South Florida, has 20,000 clients, and so she has a spray tanning business and also is a coach. So she's been a client of mine for about a year now. And so our clients are called gifters, and then this is called GifterX Talks because you may not be clients, but it's all about TED Talk, TEDx Talk. One is more the main thing, and this other one is more of a community building thing. So I want to thank all of you because gifter for me, which I believe all of you are, your story is gift to the world. That's why it's called GifterX Talks, entrepreneur community of speakers. Thank you again, those around in Florida, for being here today. So we have 5 speakers here today. Each speaker is going to give a 5-minute speech, and then all of you have a 3-minute Q&A. Now, please be nice to our speakers because some of them have a lot of experience, some of them might not have a lot of experience, but we're here to share and hopefully serve you in wherever you are in your path. Does that sound cool? And so when they're up here, please give them some love. Please give them some applause because it really is tough to be up here to share their story. So when they come up here, they have 5 minutes. At 4 minutes, we have our Swiss timer, Christian. Let's give Christian some love. And he actually is Swiss. I just love saying we have our Swiss timer, Christian. So he's been part of our community for a while. We started this back in June. We do this every month on a Wednesday when I'm in town. So next one is on December 7th. So thank you all for being here. So again, 5-minute speech, 3-minute Q&A. We have 5 speakers, and then I'll end the night by sharing what I do in terms of how you can all use your story to inspire more people, make a lot of money, and make a difference in the world. Sound good? Okay, cool. So let's see. All right.
So I'm going to start with the question we get every time we walk into a room and we meet someone new. I am Laura from Kentucky. My husband is
Philippe from Switzerland. Friend Chris.
And we both grew up in very small towns, and it always comes up. So how did you guys meet each other? Well, the obvious answer to that question is maybe in a bar. Actually, it was at a hair show just out of college. The most random thing I think either one of us has done for money. We were booked by L'Oreal, and it was like a 4 or 5 day gig. And after 3 days, I asked this guy out for a drink. And
she's out of my league, so I was a bit shy. Anyways.
So here we are, married 6 years as of last Friday. And
applause, thank you.
The day that we met was not even 7 years ago. So it's been a pretty quick run from the very first moment that we met each other. Can you hear me? So now we are actually working in the fine art business. We own a couple galleries, one here in Miami, one in Central France. And how we got to this point was Philippe and I, when we met that night, I asked him himself, and he said his mother was actually an artist. And growing up in rural Kentucky, it's not really seen as a career path to go, and open a gallery or work in fine art. It's kind of seen as a stigma that you're going to be just poor your whole life if you work in art. You're going to be a starving artist. There's no one saying, oh, you could be a curator. You could be, selling art to collectors around the world. So it kind of sparked my interest that we would be doing this today. And I'll let Philippe.
So like she said, we come from a background that we don't really are in art. My mother's an artist though, so I grew up in that industry. And when we first came to America, we decided to look at a niche in Miami, which was fine art staging. No companies in America were really doing that. So during COVID, we decided to implement a strategy where we would stage fine art of other galleries into luxury properties. We did that
had no capital or, inventory at the time. So it was kind of a way to MacGyver into the fine art world.
Yes, and so basically, to come back a little bit, we were going to open a gallery in New York. COVID happened. We closed out. We opened a gallery in San Francisco. COVID was prolonged, so we closed that. And that's when we did the staging. So coming back a little bit. A little nervous, guys. Apologize. But if you want to jump in a bit more into the staging aspect of things.
So the title of our speech was going to be Turning Adversity into Opportunity. The very first kind of thing that we did to catapult ourselves as gallerists was kind of turn the COVID situation where Art Basel was canceled into let's take advantage of our staging clients and relationships, and let's do this like kick-ass private event in a penthouse at one of the most exclusive buildings in Miami. We dumped most of our savings into this event at the time, and 1 hour in, the cops shut it down because so many people showed up. The invitation got leaked. So it was just one of those situations where I was like, what do we do now? How do we do this next? And we luckily were able to, capture that whole experience and do virtual reality, that whole show. So we were able to take that very niche experience and put it into the world, and we had collectors acquiring pieces from Hong Kong and from different parts of the United States.
So my good friend Chris just mentioned that we have 1 minute left. I'm sorry. But so to keep it short, we don't come from much. We had no capital, no artists. We made we made our life from scratch, basically, like I'm sure most of you guys. And now we have 3 locations worldwide: Palm Beach, Miami, Saint-Tropez. We are the leading staging company in fine arts in the East Coast. We do 38 properties a year. And basically, it's if you have a dream and you believe in something and you love what you do, the sky is the limit. And even speaking today, it's something that I'm definitely not comfortable with. So if you find a way to do it, you can go a long way anyhow. So,
all right. Thank you guys so much for listening.
Thank you so much.
Basically, branding is an integral part of our culture. It's part of our self-expression, and it's even part of our social status. It literally shapes how we perceive each other, how we interact with each other. And I come from a psychology background. I studied what makes people happy, and I'm kind of a nerd about this stuff. So if I go down the nerdy route, just let me know. But I want to use an example to really prove a point. So picture walking into Starbucks. There's a certain feeling that you feel when you walk in. You smell the fresh coffee. You feel important. They tailor to your taste and preferences. You can customize your drinks. They call you by your name. Your name matters, and you matter. And at the end of the day, your whole experience is elevated with a hot cup of grande, low-fat, extra whip, macchiato, you name it, in your hands. And this actually matches with their brand promise to, let me just check, inspire and nurture the human spirit. So the experience matches the brand promise. Now, if you compare this, for example, with Dunkin' Donuts, okay, you walk in, it might be a long lineup. It's usually a little bit more rushed. You might get a nice smile, but they're probably not going to call you by name. And, you see a lot of options, but you definitely nobody's got time for your extra options and customization, right? So, but at the end of the day, you get a good cup of coffee for a great price. And this matches their brand promise, which is to be the leading provider of a wide range of beverages and baked goods. So you can see that consistency is key to building trust, because trust is created when you make a promise and you keep it, just like when you're building friendships. So, it's really important that we create experiences that match people's expectations, which actually led me to think that a brand is not necessarily a promise. It's more of an expectation, because if you think about it, Starbucks doesn't really own their brand. It's the consumers that own the brand through the expectation that they have. And that's why it's so important to have consistent brand touch points every time a customer interacts with your brand, whether that's the user experience, the service, or even the packaging of your product, because that's what creates trust. And when promises are met, there's no disappointment and they know what to expect. But why does this all matter? Okay, so I'm going to use a fun example. So say, for example, I have this box of chocolates and I wrap it up in some old newspaper, and I take this rugged string and I wrap it together, and I take one of those sticky notes and slap it with a Sharpie and I write down chocolates. So how much would you pay for that? Would you pay $10? Who would pay $10 for a box of chocolates? Okay, this is Miami people, so I don't know. You guys are a little more high maintenance, right? Maybe 15? Nah? Depends if there's a good cause, right? Depends who's offering it. If it's some orphan, then yeah, maybe I'll pay more. Oh my God. But basically, like, let's compare it to a situation where you have a box of chocolates, now it's gold, wrapped in like gold foil, and you have velvet red ribbon with this like purple satin like tag that says like Belgian chocolates. How much would you pay for that? Would you pay maybe like $50? Maybe 60? 80? Okay. So actually, this brand, Godiva, the G collection, sells for $120 per box, and it's known as one of the most expensive brands, chocolate brands in the world. So talk about status, right, and prestige. So as you can see, branding literally determines the value of your product, right? And it actually, if you do it right, it allows you to charge even higher prices. So, because it's normal, people just naturally associate higher quality with a brand, and they'll literally pay double the amount for the same product because they just trust brands. So, how do we get our clients hooked to our brand? I encourage you to think of your brand as a person, because at the end of the day, who are we trying to connect with? People, right? And people like to relate to those that are similar to them. So I entice you to think about, well, what does my brand look like? Is it corporate? Is it sophisticated, luxurious, or is it more approachable? What does it believe? Does it match the values of your client? How does it act? Because at the end of the day, people trust those who have integrity. Do you act in alignment with your core values and beliefs? And this one I like the most is, what does it stand for? Because people love to support brands that have a bigger mission than themselves. It tends to meet one of our, I'm going to throw some psychology terms, our Maslow hierarchy of needs, which is our need to be a valuable contribution to society. So at the end of the day, people don't buy products, they don't buy services, they buy stories. And the stronger your connection to the brand, the stronger their basically their loyalty and their trust is going to be, and they're always going to think of you first. So not only are you going to have the ability to charge more, but you're also going to attract the perfect client if you're clear on what your brand persona is.
Good evening. Well, like he said, thank you, Chris. I am a numerologist. I have done basically created a business out of my own purpose. So how did I get to that? Well, I was 25 in the middle of I was having a quarter-life crisis. The world as I knew it, collapsed around me. I left my fiance. I graduated from my master's degree in 2008, construction management, when the real estate bubble burst. And then I had a couple of friends die in a freak accident in a boat that I was supposed to be in, all in the same month. Everything happened the same month. And then I remember everything was going on. The world as I knew it was over. Nothing made sense. I did everything right. Everything that people told me that I needed to do in order to be happy. Like, I went to college. I got the good grades. I was going to have the husband and the family. And then it didn't make me happy. I was lost, confused, and completely disconnected from myself. And then I looked at myself in the mirror. I'm like, who is this person? Who am I? What am I doing here? Is this all there is? I was very depressed with that notion. So the next day, I saw a friend of mine from back Puerto Rico, and she said, remember when we used to be kids that we used to look at 11:11, and we used to say, oh my God, an angel flew through, or make a wish. And in that moment, that single moment completely transformed my life. Because in that moment, I was in the space that I needed to actually find myself. And through looking at these numbers everywhere, like, what do they mean? Why do I see them? What is going on? And then I actually, lo and behold, I did not know that by that moment, I started looking into it, and I started doing research, and what does it mean, and what is it about, and how it can serve me. And then all of a sudden, by looking at the numbers, I went into a journey of going back to myself. Discovering myself, I discovered my purpose. And then from my purpose, I did not know this, because if you would have asked me to be a numerologist, I would have been like, sure. Okay. Like, no way. You see? But then when I started serving, using this tool for my own self-study, really, I wanted to see who I was. I discovered what my purpose was, and then people started coming to me and telling me, well, teach me. Can you do a chart for me? And all this. Wait a minute. You can actually make a living of something that you love doing? And you not only that, something that you know how to do, it's worked for you, and you can share it and give it to people so it can work for them. That completely transformed my life. So I took it seriously. And from then on, I created a business that really embodied everything that I've learned through numbers, basically, which is, compassion, serving, purpose. This is the way we treat my employees, my team, everybody that comes around. It's a love-based business, okay? I'm here to serve, share, give my knowledge to you so you can use it and empower yourself the way that it has served me, and then use it so you can find your purpose in life and then create a business out of it, because that's what it's there for. It's meant to be shared. It's meant to be, given away. And then the thing is with this whole thing, it has been an incredible journey, because the more that I focus on this, the more the doors open. And so through numbers, and I got to know what my strengths were, who I was, my limitations, what I had to learn, my challenges, my gifts. And then when you know yourself in a way that is it's so empowering, because then when you're confronted with things, you can make decisions, you can go out with your life, and then you can share that life with others, and then make a business out of it, make money out of it. Because that's the way the universe works, and that's what the numbers teach you, that when you give, you receive. And it's a symbiotic relationship. It has to be equal. And then when you go from your heart, everything is limitless. It empowers you to expand yourself, grow into fulfill limitless potential, and then you can be happy while you do it, which is amazing. And then you are serving others, you have the life that you want, and you can share that life with others so others can also have that life as well. One of the things that I have is I have clients from all sorts of walks of life, celebrities, CEOs to, regular people. And there has not been one person that I, teach this tool and they use it, and they are blown away how it transforms their life. From making decisions to knowing what your business name should be, your launch date, when should I start the business, when should I open it? It's incredible. And so learning to use the tools, how the universe works in a way that works for you, so you can also be successful in sharing your gift with others.
Been doing businesses, very different businesses for the past 12 years. And I'm going to start my story by asking a question. Does anybody know how to start a business? Does anybody know how do you start a business?
Yourself.
Okay, to be yourself. How do you start a business? Josh, my guy Josh, you're there. Come on, man.
There's no answer.
Right? Okay. How do you start a business?
You need to die first.
Okay. So there's a lot of ways to start a business, but if we dumb it down, it's just starting it, right? And that's the moral of my story. Like I said, I grew up in the Dominican Republic. My parents owned nightclubs, and I grew up having a lavish life until I turned 18. When my dad looked at me, he's like, bro, you legally can have babies now. You got to figure it out. And, yeah, man, that was pretty interesting. When you're put in a situation like that, your mind goes, kind of opens up to a. Is that right? Do you guys agree with that? Do you guys agree with that? Yes or no? You guys are like, oh, serious? So, yeah, my mind opened up. I was looking for opportunity, and one of my best friends called me. He's like, dude, I have a business for you. I'm sorry, can you guys hear me?
Keep the mic closer to your mouth.
All right, so one of my best friend, he called me. He's like, bro, I have an opportunity for you. Come through. I'm like, okay. We're going to go to this event. And I'm like, sure, man. I'm 18. My dad just told me, hey, you got to figure it out. I have no money, no nothing, and I like to live lavish. Anybody likes to live lavish here? There's a lot. Come on, raise your hand. Come on. Yo, this
is Miami.
If you like lavish stuff, raise your hand. Because if we're here talking about entrepreneurship and money, you guys are like, nah, man, come on. I don't like lavish. And, I'm a humble guy. Bro. Look at you people. You guys are dressing nice. You guys like lavish shit. All right. So, now I lost myself. I'm an extrovert, so I kind of I was hanging. Thank you, my brother. I was hanging out with my friend. He told me he was going to take me to this meeting, and he showed me this business. It was actually a network marketing business. Anybody been in network marketing? Nice. So, yeah. I honestly sat down there. I didn't know what they were talking about. I didn't understand shit. And all I understood was the guy told me, he's like, if you do this right for the next 3 to 6 months, you're going to make $3,000 a month. And I'm like, okay. I'm 18 years old, living in the Dominican Republic. $3,000 in the Dominican Republic. Anybody Dominican here? Latin America? Puerto Rico? Well, in Dominican Republic, $3,000 is about $10,000 here. So it was, for me being 18 years old, making that money, I'm like, what do I got to do, bro? Do I got to, like, shoot something? Like, I'm down to do whatever. No, I'm kidding. So he showed me that, and I'm like, okay, let's go. All in. I signed up. I think it was like 12 years passed by, and I started making $3,000 a month with that business. And the cool thing about that, it was the guy that introduced me to the business was my first mentor, and he gave me a book, How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. Anybody heard of that book? Really cool. If you see me smiling a lot, it's because of that. It's because of that book. It's not because I'm creepy. Okay. So yeah, that's how I got introduced to personal development. And yeah, man. After that, 12 months after, I started making that kind of money. But at 19, I remember I was 19 at the time. As a 19-year-old, making $3,000 a month in Dominican Republic, I did what probably any 19-year-old would do, which is, you guys have an idea? There you go. Who said that? So I love motorsports. I bought a lot of cars, bought a lot of bikes. I was living my crazy $3,000 a month life, 19-year-old Dominican Republic. And I did something that you shouldn't do in business, which is I stopped doing what got me to make $3,000 a month. Has anybody ever happened that? Right? You just stop doing what got you there. So what happens? Everything goes to shit, basically. So, yeah, fast forward, I moved to, I literally lost everything, didn't do the business right. I moved to New York, where I catched up with my sister. My sister, she got a degree in Berkeley College in New York for marketing. So I got there, and being money hungry, I'm like, hey, we were catching up, and she was doing her thing. And I asked her, what are you doing? She told me she was doing websites for small businesses. And I asked her, I'm like, so does that make money? And she's like, yeah, it's good. I'm like, if I get you clients, would you share the bread with your little brother? And she's like, yeah, man, we could build this business together. And that's what we did. Fast forward, I ended up working with major brands in New York City, like Push Fitness. It's a gym with like over 8 locations in New York. Pretty cool restaurants like Mamma Mia. Everybody from New York? Have you guys been to Mamma Mia on 42nd? Sorry, on 45th? No, 44th? Mamma Mia? Really good. It was a cool experience because they've been in business for like 50 years. So I saw 3 generations of ownership, like grandma, mother, and daughter. And it's a really cool experience when you just start your business. So that's where I was at. I'm like, I didn't know what to do. I didn't know anything about marketing, but I just started, right? And fast forward to that, met a great guy. His name is Paul Getter, the internet marketer. He already spent over $1 billion in ads, and you could actually check his Instagram out. It's @Paul, and that's how you know he's pretty cool, when you have a generic name and have that name. It's like literally @Paul. And from there, it's been a really, really cool experience. My story, it's like whatever you do, it doesn't matter how, doesn't matter whatever people think about you, bro, just start your shit, man. There's just a lot of opportunity. You never know where you're going to end up by just starting. Like today, from network marketing to moving to New York to moving to Florida, now hanging out with Christopher Kai. Come on, bro. Come on, my man.
Damn. How do you do that? Teach me right now. Here's
Come
my
on,
credit card.
dude.
I'm throwing my credit card right now.
So yeah, that's the moral of my story, ladies and gentlemen. Don't be afraid. We only live once. Whatever idea you got, nobody gets the shit. Just do it. Just start. You never know where you're gonna end up. Like, look now, I'm hanging out with all these beautiful people, bro. I'm super excited, right?
So I'm going to teach you and share with you how do you turn your story into an actual successful business, whether as a speaker or coach. I've been blessed to be doing this for a long time. I've helped my clients make over $200 million, whether online or offline. And when I started getting into this online world as a New Yorker, I'm like, bullshit. Why would anyone pay for this stuff? It just all seems like a scam. As a New Yorker, I'm like, doesn't make sense. But if, let's say there's 50 people in the room right now, and you find 5 people that are interested in your coaching, and that costs $1,000, that's $5,000. If that's every month, that's $60,000 a year. You've already made more money than the average American in the United States. It's pretty insane that if you have the right mindset and the right skill set, you can literally work anywhere you want, with anyone you want, anytime you want. Give some love for Gladys. So true happiness is not financial freedom. It's time freedom. I have a lot of friends and mentors and colleagues. They're billionaires. They have a lot of money, and yet they're not time free. So keep that in mind that as you're pursuing your dreams, make sure you focus on the time freedom, because time is not money. Time is actually more important than money, because you can always make more money, but you can never make more time. So I hope you realize that you are here. That's why I appreciate you. That's why I applaud you, because time is the most important thing we have in life. And if you waste your time, you're literally flushing your life away in a toilet. And why would you do that? Because as Stephen Awesome Thomas said, you're all very beautiful and you're all very bold. So I'm going to share with you 3 basic things where you can turn your story into an actual business. I am a living proof of this, because as a kid growing up in Queens, New York, my mom's a school teacher. My dad's a case manager. I have no money, no access, no connections. And guess what I did a lot as a kid? I talked all the time. How many of you have ever gone to a Catholic school? It's horrible, because they're very strict. So every single moment I had in 1st grade, 2nd grade, 3rd grade, they kept telling me, Christopher, shut the fuck up. Now, obviously they didn't say that, right? That's my New York song coming out. But as a 6-year-old kid, a 7-year-old kid, an 8-year-old kid, if I have a person of authority looking down at me, that's what I'm processing. So the single most important thing you all need to know as speakers, as coaches, as influencers is it's not what you say that matters. It's what that person feels what you're saying to them. So imagine you're a 6-year-old kid. Every day, every person of authority is looking at you and say, shut up, shut up, shut up. Clearly it didn't work. But to know that I was punished for talking too much in class, had a reading disability, so now I thought I was stupid. And again, I'm Asian, so if an Asian person is stupid, it's even worse. And lastly, I was really, really, really short for 10 long years. 4'10", going into high school. Now, if you're a woman and you're short, you can wear heels, not a big deal. If you're a guy and you're short, it's a big deal. Because I remember, I went to an all-boys school. This is actually my classmate from high school, Maurice. He was a valedictorian in high school. No, I say that because, again, let's give that some love. But I say that because, again, if you want to be smarter, you literally stand next to Maurice for 10 minutes and your IQ goes up. That's why I hang out with this guy, okay? He's very modest. But what I'm saying is this. If you have all these struggles in the past, if you're like the shortest kid in class for 10 years, and Maurice knows, like I was really short. Yeah, okay. But I remember when I was in 9th grade, again, all-boys school, had all-girls schools. We'd have a party. I see this really cute girl. She has a black top, a black fedora, a white top, and a black skirt. She's super cute. I walk up to her. I ask her to dance. She says, yes, I'm doing my thing. I'm all happy. And then this upperclassman walks up to me, literally lifts me up, laughs in my face, and says, ha, 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 are you trying to pick up a 2nd grader? He puts me back down. And mind you, at the time, my voice didn't crack yet. So I'm like, put me down, put me down, put me down. So this motherfucker puts me down. I look at her. She looks at me. I walk off. She walks off. And that motherfucker is like laughing. I tell you this not because I want to. I tell you this because I have to. All of us have had emotional scars. I don't care if it's your mom, your dad, your brother, your sister, society, whatever. All the stuff in the past is in your past. Don't allow your emotional scars to determine your future success. I meet so many people in life. You can plus that, Shri. It's not your connections. It's not your intelligence. It's not all this stuff. It's our mindset. If you think you're stupid, you're going to be stupid. If you think you're dumb, you think you're ugly, all these things I was told. You should shut up. You're not smart. You're not attractive. But guess what? I know I'm attractive. I know I'm smart. I know I'm the man that I want to be because my mom raised me right. So when you start knowing your own truth, don't allow your past scars to determine your future success. Because if you do that, you'll never be the person that you want to be. So when you share these stories about low points, high points, you share your personal stories so people can relate to you. You share your professional stories so people can aspire to be you. And lastly, you share your client stories so that they can have a reason to pay you for your services. Make sense? So I have these programs where I teach people all around the world. We have clients in 120 cities, 30 countries and 6 continents. Gladys is one of them. And I always tell all of them, stop talking about what you do and share the success stories of your clients. So I'm going to share 3 stories. Then I'm going to end this. If you have questions, great. And then if you want to learn more about our programs, please feel free to ask. But ultimately, 3 stories. One is a guy named Donald Payne. He's not even 30 years old yet. He has an event in Columbus, Ohio every month, hundreds of people. And I'm like, dude, you want to be a coach? You want to be a speaker? What's up? He has the mindset, doesn't have the skill set. So I literally fly out there, have what I call a VIP day. I build out his entire understanding of himself, his strategies, his clients, and he realizes, oh my gosh, I've transacted $100 million in transactions. I have multiple clients that have helped them make millions of dollars. So again, if you want to get into real estate, would you hire someone that has 10 years of experience, $100 million in transactions, and helps his clients make millions of dollars? Yes or no? It seems obvious, but it's so important that whatever business you're in, stop talking about yourself, talk about your clients. It's like if I take all of you to a beautiful Italian restaurant, or let's say that Michelin star restaurant that you bought your beautiful husband there last week, right? So, okay, yeah, your husband brought you there, right? But let's say you're like, oh, this great restaurant. I look at the menu, I look at the chef, it's so cool. I look at Yelp, it's like 2.4 stars. Are we going to go there? Probably not, right? I'm just saying, whatever business you're in, talk more about your clients because that's essentially you're creating a imagination and a vision of who they will be because why would they hire you? Why would they pay you? Why would they invest in you if you're not giving your clients results? So Donald's case, I helped him make $38,000 in 2 events with 3 weeks of notice. And that could be a lot of money or not a lot of money for certain people, but for him to do it for this first time, and that's like $250,000 or $500,000 a year, it's pretty cool because now he can definitely build out a 7-8-figure coaching program based on understanding the mindset that he kind of had, but the skill set that I taught him. That's the first story. Second story is this. Dragana, she was so afraid that she wouldn't even do a Facebook Live online. She wouldn't do a Facebook Live. I said, Dragana, I got you. I'm going to sit next to you. And in the first Facebook Live, she had over 2,000 views. And so, wow, she had this validation. Within a year, she's speaking on a national stage. Within 2 years, she's speaking on a global stage. Now, 6 years later, I don't know if you saw Gladys, but she's posting on our stuff saying that my biggest goal in life right now is to help and serve my clients. Because I'm good myself. Even the whole coaching world, when you're a speaker, like imagine, close your eyes for a second. Close your eyes for a second, okay? Imagine someone flies you first class to the country you want, treats you like a VIP, you get to share your story, they pay you, you go home, and that's your life every day, every week, every month, every year. Open your eyes. So if you're living this life, why do you want to be a coach? You live a kind of a good life. Again, time freedom, not financial freedom. But when people start asking me, Christopher, can you consider creating a coaching program online, so it's 1 hour of your time online, and I could do that. And we live in a world, I was literally in Barcelona, Spain, 5 years ago. I get recognized in the States when I speak. I'm in Barcelona. I'm flying 10 hours from Beverly Hills to Barcelona. I get off the plane. I'm completely jet lagged. And this woman approached me. She's like, Christopher Kai, it's Elaine. I'm in your GPS speaker program. I'm like, oh, hey, Elaine. Like, I'm letting you know. I'm creating your vision, your future, your imagination where We have never been living in this society ever. Those of you who are over, I'm not going to say how old you all, but if you're under 30, you're living in the best freaking time of human history because everything's free in the beginning. Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn, Clubhouse, all this stuff is free. You didn't do this stuff 20, 30 years ago. So keep in mind that for me to meet a client that I've never met in my life in Barcelona, and she recently hired me again to help her with a speech tomorrow, it blows my mind. Because what you're doing essentially is you're looking at the laptop and you're talking to yourself. But yet, on the other side of the laptop, you have dozens, hundreds, thousands, tens of thousands of people that are listening to you. And I'm not technology savvy, okay? So just keep in mind that whatever you have in terms of your skill set, expertise, you learn how to market yourself, and you know how to sell yourself, you'll be able to have a business based on your story. And the last one I'm going to share is Shelly. Shelly is a woman who grew up on a farm in Washington. She goes to Idaho with her husband at one point, builds a dream home, and at one point they can't afford it. They might lose their home. And she decides to go clean toilets at the airline as a part-time job person. But she sticks to the course, she persists, she has grit, and she ends up creating this networking group in Idaho, and then creates this insane idea of having a mastermind at a castle in Ireland, finds me somehow online, Googles me and sees that I speak at Google, hires me to be her keynote speaker, and I help her raise her brand as a global expert. No woman from Idaho who grew up on a farm in Washington is going to have a global brand unless she pushes herself out of the comfort level. Every single one of your dreams tonight, it's not here. It's not even here. I've literally flown 10,000 miles across to Davos. You know what Davos is. Davos is very far. And I hate cold weather. But I'll go there because there's opportunities there. But what I'm saying is, relative to Shelly, she did this because she had a dream. She did this because she had grit. And she hired me to build this global brand. And then last year, what makes me so happy is I helped her build out her own program, her own understanding of sales. And she made $100,000 from just 2 events with 10 people in the room. Now, again, seems crazy, but the model is this, like what Russell Brunson does. You go for a free event, what Tony Robbins does. He'll have a free event, have 26 million people there online and offline, and upsell you. Everyone does upsells. You go on an Uber ride, they upsell you to Uber Black. You go to an airline, you buy economy, they upsell you. So get that word in your mind, because if you want to make money and make a difference, think about upsell. Warren Buffett talked about the compound interest is the 8th wonder of the world. Well, upsell is the 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th. Because when you put yourself out there, you will inspire people for years on end. So I leave you with one final thing. Remember, your story is gift to the world, but your story can make a difference, can make money, and can impact so many people beyond your wildest dreams. So I want to thank you for coming here. Thank you for participating. And again, if you want to learn more about the speaking program, the training, please come talk to me. But we're going to do this every month. Our next one is December 7th. We close out the year. Thank you so much. Give yourselves a round of applause, please.